Merry Christmas and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Christmas tree drum lift. I used two large wooden rounds from the woodpile section at Hobby Lobby, and it needs to be big enough to fit the base of your Christmas tree stand. Some 14-inch roof flashing from Home Depot, two 26-inch embroidery hoops, I got mine at Hobby Lobby, six 12-inch long wood pieces from the Dollar Tree, some 10 snips. I think I used about 15 knobs that I got at Hobby Lobby when they were half off, some white spray paint, isopropyl alcohol, E6000 glue, hot glue, and also not shown here is the black cording, and you can use any color you prefer. I started by sandwiching the two wood round pieces in between the six 12-inch long pieces I got from the Dollar Tree. And I put four along the edge of the round and two in the center. Now, if you prefer to use PVC pipe or something like that, you can do that. You just got to make sure that they're all the same height exactly. Otherwise, when you sandwich them together, they're not going to lie flat. So that's real important. These were already cut exactly at 12 inches, and I like that. So once I got them to stand up nicely on the one wood round, I was able to grab the other one and just lay it right on top, just like this. You can apply a little bit of pressure once you get that on there, just a little bit, and then you're going to let it sit. After a couple hours, you're going to take some 1.5-inch nails, and I just went right in through the glue and tapped it in, just like you're seeing here, on all 6 pieces, top and bottom. Now you're going to set that aside and we're going to work on the drum. You need to measure the circumference of the embroidery hoop, and mine measured 75 inches all the way around. Next, I took that measurement on over to my flashing on my island where I was able to mark off 75 inches plus a couple inches for overlap. Once you get the mark, you need to take a ruler and carefully draw a straight line from one end to the other. Now, I got these 10 snips at Walmart for around $6, and I was hesitant whether or not they would work, but they worked like a charm. And I just took my time so that I didn't have to put gloves on or anything like that. But if you're concerned about getting cut with the flashing, you probably should wear some Kevlar gloves or something to protect your hands, but I was just fine. I got through it unscathed without a single cut. And it went through like butter. Now, for the sake of time, I pre-painted the embroidery hoops in a pretty bright red. You can use any red you like. I use what I have on hand. And you want to separate the two hoops. The solid hoop will go on the inside of the flashing, and the one with the screw will go on the outside to snug it up. Here you see me grabbing that flashing that we cut, and we're going to put it all the way around the embroidery hoop. Then we're going to take the one that we're going to tighten over the whole thing, slip that right down to the bottom, and I want to turn that screw where it's even with the seam. And holding one side of the screw with a little Phillips screwdriver, you just tighten the little wing nut on the side and it snugs up really nicely, holding everything into place. Now it's time to flip that bad boy over and repeat. Now I had no problem getting the solid side of the embroidery hoop down in the drum, but getting the other piece over top, I had to take the entire screw and wing nut out so that I could open it up wide enough to get it on and then just reconnect the screw and wing nut. And now it's time to prep it for paint. I've already gone ahead and covered the top and the bottom wood rings with painter's tape, and now I'm just cleaning that flashing really well with isopropyl alcohol so that there won't be any problems with the adhesion of the paint. I'm using painter's touch, and I'm just outside in the freezing cold garage, giving it my first coat of paint. And because I'm super impatient, I grabbed my heat tool here. I'm just going to expedite the process by giving it a little bit of heat. Waited 15 minutes and gave it a second coat. Once that's dry, I decided I wanted to add a little bit of gold and make it look vintage. So I added gold wax top and bottom. And because my math skills stink, it took me a hot minute to figure this out. I laid the knobs out at the base. Every other knob will go on the top. They were laid out approximately 6 inches apart. Once I had them right where I wanted them, I took my ruler and made a mark exactly where I wanted the ones that were going at the top to be. Now the screws on these knobs were really long, and I was afraid if I put them through, I wouldn't be able to get my lift inside the drum. So I used E6000, and my countertop just rested perfectly all the way around. I let them sit a couple of hours, flip it around, do the top part right where I had them marked, which was about every 6 inches. And just for good measure, I used some painter's tape and let them sit overnight. Next morning, I removed the painter's tape, and look how pretty that's looking already. I love it. Next up is the roping. I bought this braided roping at Hobby Lobby, and we are going to start where the drum has the screws in the back. We're going to leave a little bit of a tail just so that I can staple gun the roping there right on that wood piece when I go all the way around. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up and down, zigzagging all around the knobs. And I start by holding the first piece down with a little painter's tape. And then I don't want to pull real hard because I don't want those knobs to fall off, but they're pretty secure. And I'm just going to zigzag them up and down all the way around the drum, as you see here. Once I reach the other side, I'm going to grab my fabric scissors. A good sharp scissors is needed to get through this cording. And I'm just going to nip it so that I can stretch it down to the bottom of that drum there. I'm going to hold it in place, and I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue just to seal it so it doesn't unravel. Now you can use a piece of tape if you wish, but I always just use a little bit of hot glue, and then I just push them down together in that V formation into the hot glue and making sure it's secure. Then for a little added insurance, I staple gun them right into that little wood piece, and it's nice and secure. Now, I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's a little lip of the flashing that is sticking through the embroidery hoop, and I want to make sure when I lay that down on my wood floor, it's not going to make scratches and marks. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a little bead of hot glue and some of that roping right along the edge, right where that little bit of flashing is sticking up, and it could either cut someone or it could scratch. So I'm going to make sure that that is nice and covered, just like that. Now I wanted to make sure that the Christmas tree base that had to go on top of the lift that goes inside the drum was secure. Didn't want the Christmas tree falling over on anyone, so got the hubs involved and had him drill a few holes and put some screws in. And now I'm so excited. It's time to put it up. This vision has been in my head for a full year, and it's finally come to fruition. Ta-da! Now that green part there gets covered up with a little bit of fabric I purchased from Goodwill. It's perfect, red and white candy stripe. I absolutely love this. It lifted my 7-foot tree an extra foot, and I think it looks grand. What do you think? Now it's time to decorate the tree. Let's get to getting. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. More to come.